Thank you. It's an absolute privilege to be here today with the rock stars of the luxury hospitality industry. Most of the luxury inventory of hotel rooms and villas are handled by these folks here. Today we're here to talk about how the luxury landscape has changed and evolved quite rapidly in the last couple of years post-COVID. Travelers are putting experiences ahead over possessions, and most of the younger generation, which is the millennials and Gen Z and all of us on stage, are driving this change. They're actually sort of going to be all set to take up the demand to about 80% of luxury consumption by 2030. And they are placing technology, transparency, and purpose at the forefront of their choices. My first question, therefore, is to Anil Chadha about sustainability. Sustainability is a buzzword which is literally omnipresent everywhere. But ITC championed sustainability and pioneered the concept of responsible luxury. But can you tell us in layman's language, how does that translate into the product and customer experience? So if a traveler wants to choose or make a greener choice, why should they choose an ITC hotel?
Thanks, Rakhee. Pleasure to be here. So I'm glad that the first question in luxury is on sustainability, because many years ago, nobody could really understand that why are we talking of sustainability in a luxury world. And that's how we coined this word called responsible luxury, where we said luxury and sustainability have to go hand in hand. So I'll answer your second part, your question later, but if you look at the broad scope, if you look at all the reports which have come out on sustainability, whether it's by BCG or McKinsey, I'm not going to give you hard data and things like that, but I think there's a much more growing awareness now. There was a recent study done by BCG which said that 60% people are today much more aware on sustainability than they ever were. In US, 11% people are ready to pay more for a sustainable product. India, Brazil, China, there's 16% people are ready to pay more for a sustainable product. 1 in 10 consumers in US are ready to pay more if they understand what the sustainable part is there in that particular experience. So I think we've done a lot of work, whether it's about LEED Platinum ratings, whether it's about LEED Water, LEED Carbon. We have already surpassed the emission targets of COP21. So as a company, we certainly are. We took this on, and we've been pioneering this entire philosophy of responsible luxury. I think the growing awareness is something which would help the complete cause. Remember, the earth is our responsibility. It was given to us by our ancestors, but we are living on a borrowed world right now for our children. What you leave behind is something that you need to do very, very responsibly. So with all this talk of luxury, hoteliering, hospitality, the growing awareness is certainly coming in handy.
Great. How does the customer sort of see it when they sort of check into an ITC hotel or come to your restaurant?
I think time has come now where people are going to ask you this question, right? Your menus will have to have carbon footprinting mentioned on them. When you check out of a hotel, you will need to know how much carbon you consumed. When you do a banquet function like this, you want to step out and say how much carbon I consume, what is it that I can do in terms of plantation of trees and things like that. There are companies who are now mandating it on the RFPs. They want to know. All these electric vehicles which are coming in, they're asking you that what kind of vehicle you're using. So it all comes in handy completely. And I think more importantly is, again, I go back to the word responsibility. Whatever you do in the hotel parlance, whatever you do in the hospitality space, you got to do it responsibility for tomorrow.
Absolutely. So they want sustainability, they are tech savvy, they are time impatient, but yet they want exceptional service. My next question is to Parveen Chander about the Taj brand, which is really sort of has been acknowledged the world's best hotel brand for 2 years and India's strongest brand for several years. You're a legacy brand, but yet managed to remain extremely relevant to today's traveler. How have you done that?
So, Rakhee, we're very fortunate to have a 120-year-old legacy brand, and Taj is not just known in India, but Taj is what is known all over the world as hospitality icon. And there's a lot of work which has gone to make sure that the Taj continues to be in that position. And as you heard Mr. Chatwal talk about it, we've been working in the last 6 years about how to strengthen the brand. And when you have a brand like Taj, you need to make sure that it continues to be relevant, conversational. And when we look at the top 2 or 3 things what the brand stands for, we say that it is iconic and it's also soul stirring. So there's a lot of work we do with respect to making sure that the brand is relevant to all generations. You'll be very happy to know that in the last 2 years, we have almost about 35% of our consumers are under 40, which means that's a great pipeline of how people are taking over to the brand. And this has gone up in the last couple of years. So it requires you to continue to give experiential service. We train our people. The entire pipeline needs to kind of be integrated. You need to have people to understand what soul stirring is, what is soulful indulgence in a hotel. We train people on finding out intuitive opportunities to strike a chord with their guest. And I think the core of us is not the brick and mortar structures, it is our people. And I think those are the ones which make all the difference. In addition to that, we also have been doing a lot of work on making sure that the brand conversations stay relevant. And that is where you must have seen that, we've been bringing up IPs like She Remains the Taj, holidays with Taj. We've been talking about Dekho Apna Desh campaigns to Festivals of India stays with Taj. So the way a brand converses has to continue to be relevant and with the right kind of audience. And I think that's what helps us in our positioning. And you've seen the results in the last 4 years. We've been India's strongest brand across all sectors, and also world's strongest brand, world's strongest hotel brand. So I think that's some of the things, and it's all thanks to the legacy. And in the end, I would like to say, being the house of Tatas, we are known for the trust, and people trust us. So I think that's a great place to be in.
Spoken like a true sales and marketing person. He's plugged in literally everything. But I do agree that it's about the people. And my next question is to Mohit, and it's really, all of this is fine, but eventually luxury is about detail, right? And I think the Oberoi group has always stood for that. It would be amiss if I didn't take the legend Mr. P.R.S. Oberoi's name at this stage and to talk about the kind of incredible contribution he made to the luxury industry. But really it's all about the detail, and you've always been known for minimalistic luxury. How has that evolved in the last few years for the Oberoi group? For instance, are you using technology, machine learning, and all of these buzzwords, AI, to augment and sharpen the service? What are you doing in that space?
Thank you. A very important question. Thank you. So I'm going to take just, I know I've got 4 minutes, so I'll take those 4 minutes. But for us, 2 things have happened in the last 5 years. One is known as COVID, and the second is our losing our Chairman Emeritus, Mr. Oberoi. And in their own ways, they've impacted the company. Now we have Mr. Arjun Oberoi and Mr. Vikram Oberoi leading the company. And we've had the opportunity to study our guests a little more deeply and how their behavior has changed over because of the COVID pandemic. And when you say that Oberoi has always been known about detail and luxury for us has meant minimalistic, what I would like to say to you is that internally, what we've always prided ourselves on is having a long line at our front gate of guests wanting to experience an Oberoi hotel, and a long line at the service entrance of people wanting to join, work, and learn with an Oberoi hotel. And what's the third thing that's changed, and we really want that to be also noted, is that we now want to spread the Oberoi word in a manner to more geographies so that there are more places where guests can come and experience us and team members can come and work with us. But all of this has happened is because of a single thing that we've always, through the 90 years that we've existed, which is listen very carefully to our guests. And as the guest has evolved, so have we tried to do. And everybody has different catchphrases for it. We like to believe that our service is intuitive, and for the service to be intuitive, we have to listen and watch our guest with all our 5 senses. And these 3 themes that you talk about, sustainability, artificial intelligence and IT, and of course the third one that you were referring to, authenticity. Now, you will find that all 3 of these are important to people at the front gate and at the rear gate. I think Anil Parveen made the point that they were getting younger as well, and therefore we have to be current on all 3 for us to be able to attract the people at both our gates. Coming to technology, which is the specific question for us, what we've done, or what I've found in the last 5 months that I've been there, is that we are mapping every stage of the customer journey. Oberoi hotels for a long, long time used to be about warm welcome on arrival and a fond farewell on departure. But everything that happened after departure and back to return, we weren't at our strongest. We were a very high-class operation from welcome to farewell, but now we want to actually map the entire journey, whereby every single touch point is enabled, strengthened by technology, without ever letting go of our DNA of intuitive service. Intuitive service is being able to receive from the customer what they want, but now actually AI and technology can tell you what they actually love deeply, are passionate about, much before you first meet with the customer. So this entire journey has been mapped out. Various technology points have been made. The beauty of it is that it's a journey, right? We won't solve all the problems today. It needs a lot of money. More than anything else, it needs a lot of commitment from the leadership. And I'm really happy to say that with Mr. Vikram Oberoi and Mr. Arjun Oberoi, we are truly committed to using all these 3 levers to make sure that our owners are happy, that our guests are delighted, and our team members, more and more team members want to work with us and then grow with us. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, definitely. And I think all of you are saying the same thing about service and intuitive service being the key. I mean, everything else is a tool to augment, but I think intuitive service stays. I talked about minimalistic luxury, and I want to move to Anuraag because the Leela Group was the first to stake a claim about 7-star luxury when they opened the Leela in Bangalore. And as we know and we've all talked about, this whole visible luxury has moved to now being about quiet, discreet luxury. The new age consumer is not really wanting to, it's not in your face, but they want something quieter. Is there a shift in approach to luxury by the Leela Group? And if so, how?
I think, thank you for that. So basically, I think when we Leela has always been known for an amazing legacy, some wonderful palaces, great asset quality, and warm, gracious service. So we were very mindful and very conscious that we need to preserve, because that's what differentiates Leela as a representative of true Indian luxury. Now coming back into terms of intuitive experiences or intuitive service and quiet luxury offerings that you spoke about, I think today's generation of customers that many people spoke about, who are like living the YOLO kind of experience, actually we are thriving in this experience economy, and they have a high propensity to spend, experience, and really travel more, travel better. It's extremely important that the level of service offerings that we curate, the level of programming that the hotels deliver, go beyond the usual. It's all about what's unique, what's authentic, what's local, what is something that can enhance the stay experience, enrich the entire journey. So talking about quiet in luxury, there were certain shifts that we made as a company, as a brand. We introduced several unique curated product offerings. For example, our amenities, our toiletries were specially crafted from the Tishya range, from flowers like Kumud and Nilgiri. We started our own wellness offerings, Ojasya, And today I was very happy to read something about mindfulness in drinking. We actually have a menu for drinks, a cocktail list, which is Ojasya, so you can be merry and be healthy at the same time, hopefully. But that being said, we also did a lot of stuff on programming, because it's important to understand the trip persona. With more and more new customers coming into the ecosystem, into the experience economy, it was important that our hotels deliver beyond the usual. Experiences, insider access, which only you acquire when you're part of the family. For example, we do a polo activation in Jaipur, and there are people who drive down from Delhi to get a front row seats and access to the teams. We just recently did a tennis academy with Vijay Amritraj and Boris Becker. We have many Michelin star chefs, global chefs coming in, so you have an experience of cooking with them and experiencing all of that. And many more. All our hotels have added on certain ceremonial rituals every evening, which brings the best of the location to the guest. So you get to experience in the comfort of your hotel what the destination has to offer, whether it is art, heritage, culinary, cuisine, whatever it matters. And that makes a big impact, especially for our international guests in our city hotels where they may not have an opportunity to travel and all. I will just take a cue from what Mohit said earlier in terms of offering services. It's critical that our frontline associates, the people who are, they are the cornerstone of luxury experience delivery. They are programmed, trained, and crafted in a certain way. So it's extremely important. So we brought in the Leela Palace services, which was our 9 touch points, which was our rendering of butler services program, with the sole objective of offering a consistent brand level service, which was attentive but not obtrusive. So that's something that we are working on, plus creating a leadership pipeline through LLDP. So I think one has to address it not just from product, but from programming, through various processes, looking at, as he also alluded to, the voice of the customer, using data to understand beyond checkout and pre-check-in, what are the preferences, what is it that really matters. Because sometimes what happens is we like to believe that we know everything that a guest is seeking, but those trends have changed, the times have changed. I was reading up somewhere of this concept of Henry's, high income but not yet rich. That's the new customer. Those 60 million people out there in our country who fit into that bracket, they are the ones who are going to be spending on product and services on the luxury domain. And I think as luxury hospitality, we need to be geared up for them. They are digital natives. Their consumption patterns are different. They embrace technology for a living. They get it. Their level of inquisitiveness, curiosity, mindfulness is far more than what we have been used to. So all the hotels which are delivering those experiences and programming need to pivot to be able to serve this new generation of customers. So luxury need not be loud, but it needs to be evident enough to be felt, is my response to that.
So, talking about experiential luxury, we have amongst us a new age luxury sort of owner with us, who's dressed very differently from all of us, suited, booted, in his luxury athleisure wear. But talking about experiential luxury, the homestay market, the luxury homestay market was really defined very well post-COVID. It was an unstructured market. There were a few bungalows, but people didn't know who it was run by, etc. But Lohono Stays, I think, and Isprava created that market, and of course, Ama Stays also sort of, added to that during the pandemic. But talk to us about how, back in the day, there was this badge value of going to New York, London, Paris, and today the younger generation wants to go to Kasauli, Karjat, and Kunur. They want to explore the offbeat locations, and that's where you meet this demand, this totally new demand to explore for self-growth and to find new places. Tell us about the potential of this luxury homestay market, and are you going to be a competitor to your friends here on the panel, or what is your take on it?
So thanks for having me firstly, Rakhee. I think I'll answer the last question first. I think some of the most finest hospitality institutions are represented on this panel. I think we think of ourselves more as a complement to them than as a competitor. But let me just go to the past to sort of answer the question how scalable this market can be. And it's all very easy, at least for folks like us to talk about luxury. But when COVID hit, we actually started this business in 2019. And in 2020, all the hotels were shut. Everyone from cricketers to film stars to C-suite and everybody in between suddenly wanted to stay at homes. And as all these fine gentlemen will tell you, every one of those consumers is an emperor in his or her own mind when they go to a hotel and demand the best. So we learned very fast. We made a lot of mistakes back then. We learned very quickly what luxury actually means and what these people want and why they are coming to us over going to a hotel. And over a period of time, it's come to a point now where we've done some analysis, and the sticking factor to a homestay, a standardized service luxury homestay, is almost 80%. Someone who's experienced that once will almost always come back again in some shape or form. Luxury over time, as COVID subsided and went on, it got very democratized. I think Parveen made a point of the average age of the consumer going down. We see that all the time. In fact, I think he said about 35% of the consumers under 40. For us, that would be about 75%, because younger people are always early adopters of new technology. Pre-2019, you'd struggle to find anyone with $1 million home who would be willing to rent it, saying, how can someone sleep in my bed? But yet these same people are okay sleeping in a hotel bed, which has been used by hundreds of people before them. It was just a change in dynamic, and people understood it was a concept that was pioneered in the West. But the luxury serviced homestay market, even in the West, actually was not really existent. There's probably one company called One Fine Stay that did it. The Accor Group actually acquired them. And the reason for that is Airbnb is a hugely successful company in the West, but Asians, including Chinese, including Koreans, and people from Southeast Asia and India, they want service. They don't want the inconsistency. When they go on holiday, they don't necessarily want to wash their own clothes, make their own tea, because that's not the concept of a holiday back in Asia. So I think this is a concept which we worked very hard to pioneer in the country, and I'm very happy to say it's now mainstream. And I think I go back to the competition point. I really do believe that for all the hotel chains, all the larger hotel chains, and I think a testimony to that fact is the Amar Stays brand for Taj, that it is now a large enough business for the hotel chains to be interested in, because there are lots of clients now who want a different kind of luxury. It's not necessarily if one is better or worse than the other. This gives you the opportunity to have families together in a space. Indians by DNA are generally fairly indisciplined bunch of people, and all of us are. They want to go to the breakfast buffet at 11 when it shuts at 10:30. They want to swim in the pool at 7:30 when it shuts at 7. And homestays give you the opportunity to do all of this while bonding with your family. As far as experiential patterns are concerned within the homestay market, it opens up a whole new world for us to really tailor that experience. And that's true luxury. It's time, it's discretion, it's experiences that we can provide. So I think the world is our oyster. I think this is the tip of the iceberg. This is going to be a very, very mainstream concept. And I think 10 years from now, we'll be talking about it in the same breath as hotels, for sure.
On the supply side, do you see the hoteliers having an edge over like standalone? Because, I mean, there is going to be a demand for this segment, as we clearly know. But do you see an advantage or disadvantage, or what are your thoughts on that?
Look, so I think there are, like with anything, there are advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, of course, that hotels have, they have 50, 100 years of experience behind them. Where service is concerned, they've got the hub and spoke model in place, which really helps to drive home cost and supply synergies. But at the same time, organizations like us are far more nimble than larger bureaucratic listed companies can be. And I think in the homestay market, to create it, to penetrate it, the difference is hotel owners will typically deal with 7 asset managers. So we have to deal with 700 asset managers, 700 different homeowners. You need to be nimble in a space like that. So I think there are advantages and disadvantages, and dare I say, I think consolidation is something which will almost certainly happen in this space over the next 2 to 3 years. And I think over the next couple of conferences that HVS has, I think this is going to be one of the themes.
Excellent. Cheers to that. As we've discussed, tangible luxury is no longer a trend. Today, you can get the cashmere at Uniqlo. You can get excellent champagne and caviar in supermarkets. You can get that 800 thread count sheet on Amazon.com. But what you can't get is silence, pure air, and a world without social media. So you're getting the drift. We're talking about rarefied luxury. And at the other level, this whole thing of YOLO, which Anuraag talked about, which is you only live once, so splurge as much as you can. And this whole kal ho na ho concept is real. People are willing to go to any lengths to experience their version of luxury. I want to know from all of you, what are you doing in your respective groups to react or respond to this changing consumer behavior? You've touched upon it briefly, but talk to us more about this new consumer, the shift, and what are you doing to cater to this, this whole concept? We can start with whoever wants to go. Anil?
Okay. So I think two big, after listening to all these gentlemen also, I realized that two big changes, Rakhee, which have come about really is on the experience side is the localization. This young gen is all about experiences. It's not about what they want to earn, but it's all about what they want to experience. And I think a lot of us have done a lot of work, especially coming after COVID. This is post-COVID, when you wanted to bring them back, was all about hygiene, health, and safety. And there was a lot of movement on that. But I think hygiene, health, and safety were always there in hotel. It wasn't a new concept. But today's world is all about experiences on that side. On the luxury hotel side, I can see a word called premiumization. People are ready to pay you a premium. There is a mindset change. The saying that you live for the moment and you live for the day, I think is becoming stronger and stronger. If you ask me personally, the biggest luxury sitting here is being alive. 3 years back, we were all battling with something which we didn't even know whether we will live or pass through this entire period. So I think the whole mindset about living it for today and living it well is the question. And you can see that with the average rates rising across the industry. There are expectations which are, you have to be much more efficient. So there is definitely much more headroom for luxury. When you talk about champagnes and caviars, the champagnes will keep becoming finer. The linen will keep adding thread counts. The rooms will keep getting larger. So there is enough space out there. So on both sides, you're good on both the fronts.
I think if
Yeah.
I may add on to what Anil said, I think offering a luxury product, whether it's linen or champagne or caviar or amazing F&B offerings, is kind of table stakes, and most of the luxury guests, they kind of are aware and expect that. That's the bare baseline. That's the minimum baseline. What creates the premiumization, as Anil very articulately put it, is that creating that offering an insider access that they may not have a direct connect with. For example, I don't think too many hotels have an experience menu. I don't think many hotel companies on the luxury space also had an experienced director on property. Having an experienced director on property who is not a front office manager or a guest relations manager, his or her job is to ensure that the guests, when they come in, they have something to do which is different from what they would have done. For example, if you have a kind of a trail, like we have a Leela Palace trail, there is someone who can really paint the picture in the head of the guest that this is what the offerings can exist. So that kind of an access, whether it's with the local art studio or music or culinary cuisine or local village, and making it meaningful for the guest, that's what is adding value.
Can I add just one more line here? So the one thing is very important, is storytelling. So we have this brand called Story, which we just launched about a year back, and we don't call this person a concierge. He's called a storyteller. He's the one who talks about the entire property, the entire experience. But he's so right that in business hotels, we get lost between these HODs or front office and F&B and things like that. You've kind of lost track on a lot of stories that you are supposed to build on. And that's what the world is really looking forward to.
Yeah, so I think it's that local immersion, and like you said, integrating also the community into the whole piece has become even more important. Parveen, you want to add to that?
So, Rakhee, we are in interesting times today because of the way the world is connected, not just by social media and everything else. So what's really happening is that when you go for your holiday, it's not just your holiday, you also want to publish it and you want it to be unique. So I personally feel, I think two key things which need to be done to make sure that you're able to give a better luxurious experience or more value for money. One is personalization, because everybody takes it for granted that I have a personal profile out there. There's so much of knowledge. What is the hotel doing to learn, and making sure that, implicitly they embed it into my experience. And I think that's what we are all working towards. And as Mohit said, in the future, you would find more and more of that coming in. And the other thing is that in terms of experiences, storytelling, we need to continuously keep evolving and moving up the ladder. If you want, in your leisure hotels, people keep coming back again and again. They need to have a different experience every time that they come in. At least 20-25% has to be different. And the third aspect I would mention is that we are also seeing that as people travel a lot more, and one of the speakers spoke about how that an average Indian travels 20-22 days in a year, that's where people are now going to go and explore unique destinations. And that's where a unique destination can't have a large hotel, because India has so many places to see. That's where Amar Trail comes in, that's where Lohono stays comes in, and that's where Tree of Life, Story, all these smaller boutique-ish properties are going to kind of open up the next level of travel in India, because they're easy to set up. You could go all the way deep into remote areas. You could provide extremely local experience, and that could be luxurious at the same time.
That's great. I just want to know a little bit more, and anyone can add to this. What about the whole business luxury traveler? I think a lot of it that you've talked about is to do with the leisure luxury traveler. What about, and because it's all about experiences and getting the destination, sort of into the experience, but what about the business luxury traveler? What is the market for that, and is there something that, Mohit, you can, or anyone?
I will come to that question. I just wanted to add an element to what has been said before. And one of the things of sitting in a panel with 5 very august people is, and you're number 5 on the speakers thing, you kind of think, I hope they don't cover everything I had to say, because then what will I say? And I've been trying to pick up the microphone, but these other guys are faster than I am. So, but I have a point that nobody made. One area where in the last 3 or 4 years we have regressed, become worse than we were, is in the area of being able to attract high quality, large numbers of people to ourselves in an industry. And I must say, in many ways, we shot ourselves in the foot over there. A lot of us looked after our teams as well as we could in very difficult times. A lot of us dropped the ball. And as a result, it's no surprise that we are not amongst the top 5, 7, 10 industries that people go to or think about making a career. And I think we need to do a lot of work as an industry in that space if we have to fund the growth that is critical to match the demand that is coming or already there and growing. And luxury will always, always, always remain moments of truth delivered by team members at times when nobody was watching them. We can all sit here and pontificate, but the brands live and die by the thousands of interactions that are happening in every hotel at this point in time while we sit here and pontificate. And that is delivered by people. And we are not attracting the numbers and the quality that we used to. And therefore, for me, going forward, I'm going to copy his storyteller, his by invitation only experience, and whatever else, Parveen, who is a junior, by the way, from us in college. So I don't know why he gets invited onto the same panel as us, but the point I'm making is all of this is copyable. What is not copyable is what a person gives voluntarily from himself to his guest when nobody is watching to see if an SOP is being followed. That, to me, is true luxury. And we need to be able to bring back the number of people in droves and the quality of people in Ace of Spades to be able to stay and deliver what we all want to deliver.
I think I just wanted to add something
to
what he's just said. And I think it's so true. We obsess over the feedback because we're a new company, it's a new industry. repeat stays, feedback from guests is the most important thing to us, as I would imagine is the case for the hospitality industry in general. And when you go through that feedback, what you realize is that while we have all these beautiful homes that people are coming and staying in, what brings them back is the service. Now, there's a difference. That service, what we've often been told is keep it real. So it's if you think about your own home, you have a helper, you have a maid, you have your cook. They may not necessarily speak English and wear white gloves, but they know exactly what you want, how you want it, when you want it. And people have come back to us and said that the local service in the homes is the part of the home stay. And that's what brings them back. So I agree completely with him. It's what happens when they're not looking, in the small touches that come from the local community, the folks who are actually serving the guests is what brings people back. And that truly is what people have defined as luxury when they come to our homes.
No, I love that about moments of truth, and eventually it's about that authentic, true luxury, that true experience that really matters, and that's luxury.
Rakhee, I have a point to make on business hotels.
Please.
Can we? Or?
We have 5 minutes. Please
Okay,
go
great.
ahead.
So coming back to the business hotels luxury, the question that you asked, what's luxury for today? I think that's something that we've also been trying to understand. I think for a business traveler, the biggest luxury is time. You know, he has no time. So I think efficiency, you really need to up your game on efficiency, whether it's check-in, check-out, room service, laundry, whatever, and things like that. So every hotel, all of us, all hoteliers,
They're all time
they are
impatient.
all time
true.
this thing. So everybody, all these self-check-in or whatever things.
Correct.
I think the next big thing for a business traveler is lack of sleep. You know, so you have to invest. At IDC Hotels, we've invested hugely in this word called sleep. You know,
Right.
if you can sleep well, that your day is kind of made. Whether you invest in the right mattress, linen, thread counts, blackout curtains, decibel levels, noise from the AHUs and things like that. So you have to you have to train your staff accordingly. The entire culture has to be to make sure that when you stay in an IDC hotel, you sleep like a baby. Our entire campaign is based on that.
Yeah.
And lastly, I think we've done a lot of work on the most important meal for a business traveler is actually breakfast. Okay, because that's one meal he certainly
That they
wants to
always
have
have.
because he's always on the move between flights, offices, meetings. So a lot of work that we did in understanding the needs of a business traveler. Now all of us cater to foreigners vis-a-vis Indians. What is it that the domestic traveler wants? What came out? The South Indian breakfast is the most preferred breakfast.
Right.
Whether it is idli or dosa or uttapam or sambar, is the most popular breakfast across the hotel. So we did a full study on that. How do you save time? How do you work on efficiency? How do you serve the most beautiful breakfast? So these three elements of a business hotel are true luxury for today.
Thank you for that. We just have a couple of minutes left, and I want to do a quick rapid fire round. Parveen suggested this to me, and he said, listen, let's not get so serious. So the first question is to Parveen Chander. Define what luxury looks like in the future in 3 words, just 3 words. Choose your words.
I would say personalization, digital, and iconic.
Perfect. Anuraag?
I think authentic, real. I think they mean the same thing, right? Authentic and real. And I would say iconic and something that goes beyond.
Okay, great. You can't repeat what they've said. 3 different words.
Mohit, you want to go first?
Okay, Rohan, go first.
I think it's time, it's discretion, and it's experience.
I'm not going to let Anil go. I have 3 words that nobody is going to say.
Great. I love the confidence.
For me, it's live life to the fullest.
That's more than 3 words.
Here are my 3 words. The Oberoi Group.
Excellent. Okay. Another question. What is the one luxury experience that's blown you away? Anil.
I'll have to think.
Mohit.
Now they give me the first one. I'll tell you my life. So I collect fridge magnets. I went to a hotel, stayed, exited, remembered at the airport that I hadn't bought from that city or destination, looked at the airport shops, didn't find it. I don't know whom I mentioned it to. It came in the courier from that hotel. To me, that is a hotel that gave me a memory, and if you give me a memory, that to me is luxurious.
Great. Quickly, Anil.
I've been thinking, but I think which, over the last few years, something which really kind of knocked my socks off was something that we ourselves created. It's a brand called Avartan. And this is a southern Indian mosaic that we started in Chennai. We moved to Kolkata. We have just opened in Mumbai. Now, this is a restaurant which was created in-house by an in-house team. And when we were ready, I had this 15-course menu because we love bringing in this Michelin star chefs and things like that. I'm a firm believer, as a true Indian hotelier, create brands in India and take them abroad rather than borrow. So I think that is one experience which comes to our mind, blew me away. Dine there, call me, I guarantee you will be blown away as well.
Great. Rohan or Anuraag?
I kind of bring it back to the concept of time. And like I said, we go through some of the feedback. When I don't have kids, but there was a couple staying with us for 2 weeks. And they didn't have a nanny at the time. They were staying in one of our homes. And about a week or so, they mustered the courage. They would actually go for dinner and leave their kids with our staff to look after them. That I thought was really cool, when you can leave your kids with the staff.
Time's up, but we still have 10 seconds each for both responses.
I can't think of one particular experience as such, but I can tell you some of the things that have happened at various times from various hotels is like when staff is actually so anticipatory that they will figure out your technology, they will put in the charges. If you got a missing pair of socks or something, they will place it for you. They will replace your amenities. They will get you the amenities that they know that you would care for or consume. They will ensure that your boarding pass is printed or whatever and is kept for you. Your car would be ready. Your laundry would be on time. I think it's a combination of all of that, what we would call in business hotels also like as anticipatory service. And there are some great hotels who do it extremely well most of the time. So to me, I think that's getting brilliant on basics is luxury in itself.
Parveen, last word.
So I have just one experience. About 15 years back, I went to a trade show and I was staying in a hotel in Berlin. And I had a problem with my neck. So in the night, I just didn't find a hard pillow and I didn't even ask them. I thought, I don't think they'll even serve that. So I picked up the cushion from the sofa and I slept on that. And next day in the morning, I went, left the room, came back in the evening to find a hard pillow there and a note by the person who was making the room saying that we observed that you used a hard pillow, so looks like you need it. And I think it was so intuitive, and to expect it from a hotel in Berlin where service is very cookie cutter, they really don't go beyond the call of duty. So I think some of those things, and I would say that most of the time we train our people to do these kind of things where intuitively you go back and observe what the customer is doing. So right from the number of banana skins that you find in the dustbin to replenish the amenities the next day. And that was quite great.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. That was amazing. So clearly the pandemic, as we all know, taught us a few lessons, but it taught the luxury industry how to adopt technology much faster, I would think, embrace sustainability and make it real and integrate it into customer experiences. But I think above all, it taught us how to offer incredible India in many more authentic ways. And so you heard it from the makers of luxury hospitality. And thank you very much. And with renewed hope, pun intended, and optimism, wish you all the very best. Thank you.